Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all okay today. We're going to move on from our order of operations that we did yesterday to have a look at brackets. Now, what did we learn yesterday about order? We learned that which ones were the most important. We knew that multiplication and division were the most important. They always had to come before addition and subtraction. Now, if we take a look at our Discover for today, we've got a mechanic down here who's checking all the wheels of all the lorries. Now, she's got to check the tyres on 16 lorries. Now, each lorry has got a cab, which has got 4 wheels, and it's got a trailer, which has 6 wheels. So she wants to calculate how many wheels, tyres, she's got to check today. So here, down at the bottom, is the calculation that she's written. She thinks she's got to do 4 add 6 times 16, and that will give her 160 tyres to check. Now, let's have a look if she's right. So if we followed the order from yesterday, we would get this answer, because we would think, well, if we were doing 4 add 6 times 16, we'd have to do 6 times 16 first, because that's multiplication, which would give us an answer of 96. And then we would add the 4 to it, which would give 100. So that would tell us that the mechanic would have to check 100 tyres today. However, sometimes when we are looking at a problem, we need to do things in a different order to what we learned yesterday. So sometimes we need to do actually the adding part first. Now, the way that we can do that is that we can put brackets into our calculation, because brackets actually are even more important than if we're doing multiplication and division. They come first in line. The calculation that the mechanic did earlier actually gave the correct final answer of 160. That is how many tyres that she needed to do. But in this case, she needed to do this part of the sum first before she did the multiplication. So like you can see here, I've put some brackets around the 4 add 6, and that would mean that that part of the sum is now done before the timesing. So we would do 4 add 6, which gives us 10. Now that makes sense, because on a lorry there was 4 on the cab and then there was 6 on the trailer. So we've got to add those together first, and she's doing 16 of those lorries. So then we need to multiply by 16. Here's another way down here of showing it. See if I can move myself out of the way. So we've done 4 add 6 first, which gave us 10, and then we've multiplied by 16. So in fact, her first answer of 160 was correct. That's how many tyres she's got to fix and check today, but we needed to have some brackets in her calculation. So this is another mechanic, and she is working out how many tyres are on 16 cabs and then how many tyres are on the 16 trailers. So basically he's done the same amount, but he's working it out in a slightly different way. So he thought, right, I'm going to work out how many tyres there are on the cabs first, then I'm going to work out how many tyres there are on the trailer, and then in the end I'm going to add them together, which will get us the same answer. It's just a different way of looking at the sum. So if that's the case, this can be written as 16 times 4 add 16 times 6. Now, do we need brackets here? We don't in this one, because the multiplication we learnt is done first. So what we can do here is we would work out 16 times 4, which is 64. 16 times 6, which is 96, and then add them together, and it gives us the same answer of 160. So the brackets were needed in the first place because we had to do addition first, which doesn't follow our rule. But in this case, we don't need brackets because we know that multiplication can be done first. Let's have a look at a different one. So here, we're now going out to a restaurant. Oh, that would be a treat. So we've got here, we're going to look at the menu, and we've got some veggie burgers for £7.50 each and some fries for £3.50 each. Now a family orders 4 meals of veggie burgers and fries. So that means they want to have 4 veggie burgers and 4 lots of fries. Now this is asking us to add brackets to the calculation to show the cost of 4 lots of veggie burgers and fries all together. Now, we've got to add brackets because, like before, if we didn't, what would be the first thing we'd do here? We'd do 4 times £7.50. So that would be 4 veggie burgers, and then we'd just add £3.50 to the end, and that's only one portion of prize. But what we want is 4 lots of both of them together. So what we're going to do, where would our brackets go? We would add our brackets around the £7.50 and the £3.50, because what that will make us do is add those together first. So that's one meal, and then we times it by 4 to give us 4 lots of that meal. So here it is written down. So I've now put my brackets on here. So step 1 that I would do is I would add these 2 bits together, which was £11. And then I would multiply that by 4, which would give us an answer of £44. So we've figured out from there that the cost of one meal, veggie burger and fries, is £11. And then 4 lots is £44. But we needed those brackets in to make sure that we did those first. All right, so now this is something you're going to have to do in your work today, is completing the calculations. So in a similar way, you just have to think, well, which comes first? If you see brackets, they're like the top dog, they're the thing you have to do first. So for this first one, here you can see that 15 take away 5 is in brackets, so we would do that first. So 15 take away 5 is 10. So that replaces this. 10 then multiplied by 3 is 30. So this one is 30. Why don't you pause the video and have a go at this one here now and see if you can try it. Okay, hopefully you've had a little try. Now, what I'm thinking to myself is, well, 5 times 3 is in brackets, so I must do that first. So 5 times 3 is 15, and then I'm starting with 15, and I've got to take away 15, so my answer is 0. Did you get it right? Hope so. Okay, now these look a bit more complicated because we've got 2 sets of brackets. But what we mustn't be alarmed. All we've got to think is, well, if I work out the answer for each of those brackets, write them underneath, and then in the middle as a multiplier, I can times them together. So it should look like this. So I've done 15 times 5 for this one. Sorry, 15 add 5 here, which gave me 20. Then I've done 15 take away 5, which has given me 10. And then in between, you can see we've got a multiplication sign. So we're going to multiply the answers to each of those brackets. 20 times 10. Our final answer would be 200. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. If you want to pause me, then do, and have a go and see if you match. All right, so this time the brackets are in the middle, but it doesn't matter. So I still do my brackets first. 15, sorry, let me just get rid of this. This is annoying, isn't it? Let's get rid of that. If it will go. Never mind, that's a bit better. So 15 times 5 first, which is 75. Then I've got an add and I've got a takeaway on each side. So I think, well, now I know that I've got my answer here. In fact, if I write this on here, so here I've done my 15 times 5 and I've worked out that the answer to that is 75. So I can then work through, because addition and subtraction have the same weight. It doesn't matter now which one I do first. So I chose to do the 15 first here, and I did 15 add 75, which gave me 90. And then I'm just moving through the sum. And then at the end, I took away 5 to give me 85. So hopefully that all makes sense. I've got for you today for your work, I photocopied some questions from your Power Maths books, which I've chopped and put onto a page, all to do with brackets today. That's all we're focusing on, making sure you're answering those brackets first and having a go at popping them in some questions. Have a go, have a look, see how you get on. Please make sure that you send your work in to us. So photograph it if you can, pop it onto Class Dojo, and we can then make sure that we've marked off that you've completed your maths work for today. Any problems, send us a message, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.